way to do it.
That was good.
That's
Yeah, they did give, trying to give me a day, August the 6th. August the 6th, I go for these things.
All right.
I can plead my case.
All right. Good afternoon. We're going to call the meeting of the Thomaston Historic Preservation Commission to order, and it is 2 o'clock straight up. I want to welcome everybody, our visitors, and are you applicants that are with us today, or you just been?
We're in place of 2 applicants here.
Okay. Great. Okay. Appreciate that. Taylor's going to be our secretary today, and would you call the roll, Mr. Secretary?
Bar that right there.
I do. Yep. You can borrow my list.
Thank you so much.
And if you would make a note that I did hear from Claude and Tempe. They're both working. And I did not hear from Leela.
Okay, Ms. Jameson,
I'm here.
Ms. Tapp,
Here.
Ms. Bryan is not here, Ms. Boyle is not here, Mr. Burgess is not here, Mr. Brown,
Yes, here.
Mr. Adams.
Oh.
Thank you. All right. Do I hear a motion to approve the minutes of the May 26th meeting?
So moved.
All right, Mr. Brown, do I have a second? Second. All right. Thank you. So, all in favor? Any opposed? With the commission's permission, I'm going to change our agenda just a touch. The discussion of the bylaws, we're going to move that a little bit toward the end so we can conduct our business. And if you would like to stay, you're certainly welcome. But if you don't want to hear all of our other stuff, you're welcome to leave as well. So we want to get you on here as soon as we can. All right. I'd like to, Chair would like to ask if there are any conflicts of interest regarding the applications that have been presented. Does anybody have any interest in any ownership, any interest? Anyone? Thank you. All right. So I do want to introduce Taylor Smith. Taylor's our Economic Development Coordinator, and Taylor will be in charge of Main Street and HPC. So we'll be working together, and I think that's a great move for the city.
Yeah, so I'll give you guys a little introduction. So I was born and raised here. I left to go to West Georgia back in 2015, and I finished my master's in public administration back in May. I have a bachelor's in business management and marketing. For the past 2 years, I've been out in Monroe, Louisiana, working as a project coordinator for an affordable homeownership program, focusing on neighborhood revitalization. So since taking this position with the city, we have a lot of exciting things going on. You know, a lot of exciting things. That's all I can say. I've got a lot on my plate. The biggest thing is we're working on rural zone designation for our downtown district, which basically offers state tax credits for any kind of job creation, any kind of building acquisition, or any kind of building rehab. So partnering that along with the federal opportunity zone that's in downtown. We're completing a master plan for downtown as well. You know, we have a lot of things working towards revitalizing and reinvigorating downtown Thomaston. With that being said, the expectations of HPC are going to expand. You know, we're going to meet more often. We're going to have more items on our agenda to discuss. We're going to be more involved with the revitalization of downtown Thomaston. You know, our community right now has nothing but opportunity, and I want to see us reach our full potential. And I truly think within 5 years we'll be able to look back and see a complete different image in downtown Thomaston. So I just want to say I'm excited to be here, excited to work with you all, and I look forward to really just finding our vision and expanding on what we have to offer.
Welcome, Taylor, and we're looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Well, let's call our first order of business. Colby Salter, represented by To The Max Advertising, is that correct?
That's right.
All right. And the request is for a 5x10 single-face aluminum sign on the front of the building above the entry door.
So this has already been approved at the last HPC meeting. She just is going with a different contractor to do the work, as well as going with a different size sign.
All right.
Then we approved a 3x6 at the last meeting, so this is expanding that to a 5x10. And then the awning will be removed, correct?
That's what she's talking, yeah.
Okay.
That,
And it will have to be removed if we put that sign.
Right there.
Showing.
Yeah.
Right.
does
So we
that
can-
size sign meet city code for
Yes.
that building?
Yes. It can be up to 10x10 under our sign ordinance.
Any other questions or discussion by the commission? Have any questions, Jamison, Brenda? Questions other than that? So by awning, that's the white,
So no, there's a red right now. There's
Where's
a
that
red.
red?
It's not featured on here, but there's an actual red awning on the building that comes out.
Okay.
It looks, it needs to be replaced, for being honest. So having the sign up there will look a lot better than what is currently there.
okay, and you said approval, was there a
No, so
certificate?
it was approved. A certificate of appropriateness was approved at the last meeting for
Okay.
a smaller sign. There's a 3x6
Okay,
sign.
gotcha.
So this is a new application because she is coming with a different contractor to do the signage, and then she's increasing the size of it.
Okay. Wait, does anyone else have a comment about that particular sign? Okay. Should we make a motion to approve the signage as presented?
I'll make a motion.
Jameson. Do I hear a second? All approved?
Yes.
Any negatives? We consider it approved. Thank you very much. That's going to look nice. We're going to have an easy time here today.
That's the goal.
That's
We're
right.
hoping for.
We want to make it
We appreciate it.
short. We want to make it short and sweet.
And I did want to say, including this packet, Ms. Cromer, who owns the building, has signed off on both signs, because Ms. Cromer owns both buildings that are in question today.
Okay. All right, second order of business. Lee Hunt, 99 North Church Street, also represented by To The Max Advertising. The request is to add signage above the awning and the door, signage on the door. Discussion?
Just a curiosity question, two things. Taylor, this meets the building
Yes.
code?
Yes.
Okay. The other question that I have is, in the future, should there be should we talk about possibility of a size of a sign in relation to the front of the building? This one apparently covers the entire front of the building, where the one on the other picture did not. It was more of a smaller sign relative to the area it was covering, where this one is a full width of the building sign. I don't know of any full width building signs we have in town. Maybe there are some. I'm just not aware of them.
Can I ask Steve?
Yes, please.
Ordinarily, under the regular Thomaston law, it would say 10% of that whole facade.
Yeah.
The way it's presented here is actually it's a few square feet larger than that 10%. Where it should be, I think, according to the facade here, 10% would be like 32 square feet. This is presented as 39 square feet. You know, originally, we were going to ask if we could file a variance to see if that would work. However, if this is the historical section and this has nothing to do with Thomaston, I wasn't familiar with the laws on this,
Yeah,
even if there is one.
yeah, and it does have to do with the code of the city of Thomaston.
Okay.
Even though it's historical, our role is not to try to bypass or redesign the city code.
Okay.
And that's the reason that this sign just kind of jumped out at me as larger than
That's-
what I've remembered and what I've seen in the past.
And I anticipated that, so this one here is the one I could present to y'all. And it covers 30 square feet, which would actually be under that 10%. And if you look at the difference in this and that,
It's, to
It's
me,
really-
it's significant.
it's pretty
Yeah,
significant.
it is to me, yeah.
Yeah.
I pass this.
You can. But, I mean, if you could approve the larger one, that's what we would want, but if you can't, I could see if she would go with a smaller one, it would be less money. for
Right,
her.
I understand. And we're not trying to be hard or stubborn, it's our role to try to do something aesthetically to keep the downtown area
Yes, sir. I
in the
understand.
historical perspective.
So that would be the signage was that. And this isn't an actual sign though. This is like, these are letters.
These are individual, yes, they're plastic form letters.
Okay. What is the wear on the letters?
They'll last forever.
Okay. Coloring. I know it's bright colors, so the coloring will last
Bright
well.
colors. Those colors will probably start fading in about 12 to 14 years or something like that.
Okay.
They'll begin to fade.
And I wish we had body here. Is that come under the signage? Individual letters on the wall, is it covered under the signage requirement of the code?
From what I was able to find, I found two different statutes that I was looking at. And as far as the wall sign, the sign area of any awning sign shall not exceed 50% of the surface area of the awning, which is one part of it. And then on, let's see, that's actually, what code number is that? That is under awning signs. But of course, that's talking about directly on the awning. And I think what is aesthetically pleasing about this one is that it doesn't have a frame on it. Another area says that it can be within 2 feet of the top of the building wall, a building edge, or building corner. So without the framework on it, you know.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying. This is just me personally. I'm uncomfortable with approving this until we hear more from the zoning commission, or not zoning, but Bobby, the building code enforcement, to know what is within the range. If it's over the max allowed by the building code enforcement, and they have to ask for a variance, I'd rather that take place prior to us making the decision on it, because aesthetically, I think of signage as a one-piece sign. That's me. And y'all may agree, disagree.
Well, your points are valid, and do you think that Mr. Ellington is here? Do you think we could go nab him? Do you think we could try and see if would take us?
I'm gonna say that I'm 90% sure that the 30 square foot that you submitted is within the code. I would motion that we approve this contingent on this smaller rendering that he's provided falls within line with our code ordinance. And if it does, then we could go ahead and approve this for them. I don't want it to be a thing where we're holding this up, because she needs signage, and I know that Mr. Maxwell is going to make sure he does everything in his power to stay within our ordinances.
That's never been a question. That's never been a question. The question is the size of the sign and the material that it's made out of. Does it meet city code?
I agree.
That's
So
the question.
my recommendation will be approved contingent upon Mr. Ellington reviewing to make sure that the 30 square foot is within our ordinance, and that the items that are used, the lettering, since it isn't a full sign, it's single lettering, make sure that is as well is accepted.
Mr. Maxwell, what's your feeling about that?
That's fine with me. As a matter of fact, I'll have to redraw that for her to give her a new price, and then I can submit it to Bobby
Yeah.
that way. And knowing what I know now, I'll know that will be a good size.
And so like I said, my recommendation would be to approve it contingent upon Mr. Maxwell coming back to Bobby with a new rendering.
The larger size? Or
The smaller one,
size?
the smaller one, the 30 square foot
Yeah,
one.
the one I just brought up there. And I will tell you that this material is probably actually more, it's a greater material than what we
And I-
normally use.
And I don't question that. I'm sure it's gonna be jam up and jelly tight.
Yeah.
This committee has not really adhered to any kind of a standard, and I think it's time that with the new committee, we start developing a standard that would be easy for everybody to understand,
Right, I
because
agree. Yeah.
we hear someone say, well, they got to do this,
Right.
and I didn't get to do that.
That's the problems we've had in the past, and so I can appreciate why y'all are
Yes.
doing this.
Yes, this is, I'm sure your quality is gonna be wonderful,
Thank you.
and a good job.
So there's a motion to approve this based on the 30-foot and confirmation with Mr. Ellington that it does meet criteria?
Yes, I'll make that motion.
All right, and we have a second? Okay,
In favor?
all in favor?
And so, having said that, it goes through that process. Code enforcement says, okay.
Yes.
He can go ahead and do it. We don't have to meet again.
No.
Correct? Okay.
It's approved contingent. If code enforcement says it doesn't meet the requirements, then it'd be something where we would have to come back at a next.
I don't want to delay him any longer than this.
I agree. I agree.
Right, that's, yeah,
So
we want to,
just so I know, Colby is approved,
Yes.
so I need to submit this back to
Colby's good to go.
Okay.
I'm going to give you the certificate of appropriateness signed off on, and then Lee, you'll need to submit the new size with the new pricing to Bobby, just to make sure that it does fall in line with our ordinances. And if he says yes, it's good to go, then you have approval through HPC to go ahead and proceed.
Okay, so I won't have to do anything else for Colby.
No.
and before we finalize it, is there any discussion about the door,
I don't have any problem with
Okay.
it. With it.
All right, we'll consider it approved.
Cool.
All in favor?
Thank you.
Aye.
I do have a question. I don't have a problem with it. Is that like a transparent enough so if somebody's coming in and going out, it's not a solid sheet, is it? I mean, you're not,
It's
I can't tell.
yes.
Yeah, I didn't want somebody
It's actually.
being able to open the door and knock somebody's brains out because
Right.
we approved a
It's
solid
cut
sign.
style, but you can kind of see by
Yeah,
the photo that it's pretty tinted anyway. The last time I walked in,
yeah,
I
but
could
still
see it.
transparent. It can be tinted, still be
Yeah,
transparent.
but you'll be able to see through all of this.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. So you call the question?
Yeah.
So that concludes the application process.
Well, thank y'all very much.
Most definitely.
And we appreciate you being here. We know
We're
this
gonna
is
get back to
not
work.
your most fun thing to do.
Hey, Mr. Gary, when you send that email to Bobby with the updated, just include me on that, please.
Yes, sir, I sure will.
I appreciate that.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
Nice to meet y'all.
Nice to meet you. I'd like to move on to we have a short discussion about 105 South Hightower Street, which has to do with the color. There are a lot of painted surfaces in the downtown area, but this is a little different.
Past that. So, Mr. Richard Singer owns this building. Really, I just want to I asked Ms. Jane if we could just bring this up to discuss. That green is a little rough. I would like to maybe reach out to Mr. Singer through HPC, and once we look at our bylaws and figure out, can we talk to him about updating that paint color? Because it's just rough. I don't think it's in compliance with our historical standards. That's something I need to look at. But I did want to just at least bring this up to the committee to discuss it and get your input on the situation.
Going back a lot of years to a training session I went to on historical preservation, we have some degree of control over structural changes to a building.
Okay.
I'm not even sure we have any authority over signage to a point, but because I think the city ordinance has got to take precedence with that. But the one thing we have no ability to question is the paint color.
Yeah.
I specifically asked a question, something to the effect that if they want to paint it purple with green and yellow polka dots, would that pass? They said yes. So paint colors, as I understand it, we have no control over.
Okay, so I have a call with Paige Jennings from the state with historic preservation on Monday. So that's a question that I'll bring up to her during that conversation, just to see what she says about it.
That could have changed at some point.
And it could have.
know, but that was.
So that's something I can definitely ask.
I think you're right, Walter.
Do we know how long it's been green?
I mean, not long, because on the, I pulled Q Public just to look who owns it, and the Q Public picture is from 2016, 2017, and that's back when it was like that gray color. So it's not long.
But that picture might not have been taken in 2016, 2016. A lot of times they roll them over.
And the signage.
Gary probably does. You don't know. I think Richard had his Shriner storage building there maybe at one time. I think the Shrine, it was a Shriner building, and Richard's very active in the Shriners, and that's great that he is. I just remember, I think maybe at one time it might have got painted that color during that time. That's recollecting something I'm just trying to remember.
Yeah.
I remember part of that building being used for warehouse space way back one time.
It has been used many different times for warehouse space. At one time, there was actually don't know if it was that building, but there was actually a sign shop there. In there, one of those openings in that line of buildings had a sign shop there.
Okay, so what I'll do, I'll just ask Paige about it when I have a conversation with her on Monday, just to kind of figure out what the state's input is about the situation, and then we can go from there.
Well, it would help clarify that too, if that is still
Moving forward, if we face anything like that.
Along that line, we're beginning to see some other buildings being painted around town, and obviously that's maybe not the Historical Preservation Committee what we should be doing, but it's something that the city council should look at, I think, from a standpoint of a gray, a purple, a green, a blue opening, and all of a sudden we look like a carnival or something.
It is a material change, and it does require a certificate of appropriateness. Just paint, I think I'm with you, that's that gray area. And they don't, it doesn't speak, none of the ordinances that I could find speaks to that. So hopefully Taylor will get more information from.
And I think it's something we're going to see a lot of moving forward. The city did just adopt and pass our facade grant. So we will be matching up to $5,000 for any local business owner, property owner that wants to rehab the facade of their building. So if it's something, moving forward, someone wants to paint their building, if we have any kind of jurisdiction over that, they would have to come to us. And so I'll ask Paige, and we'll understand moving forward.
And I understand a person's right to paint their building. I don't have any problem with that. It's just that when you single out one section, it's
Yeah.
Right, most of them are subdued and we don't really notice it so much, I think, and
we probably have no control over that.
because we have
It's just
so
a-
many painted buildings,
I
but
can credit Miss Fonderosa. She painted outside of her building at her art gallery, and she took that great paint, and it made the building look 10 times better. But it's still, I feel like it's still keeping in the historic nature of our downtown area. It's not too oppressive.
I think it points out the need to update our ordinances, absolutely, because, that is a material change and it is something that we do now need to consider.
And I look at a town like Forsyth, and they've got different colored buildings around their square, and it's really attractive. I mean, I'm not against that. It's really attractive. It's just that it was well done.
I would assume they had a planner come in and put that together. Maybe that's
Probably.
something that we could look into a little bit further.
Most definitely.
Yeah, our ordinances do need to be updated, as do our 1989, I think is what we look at on our design guidelines, so.
Yeah, I think that's something we can definitely work towards updating.
Yeah, absolutely. And, right, and I wanted to bring up 201 North Hightower Street, Mr. Jillian Bethel. And we wanted to thank you for the way that you came to the commission. You were agreeable to changing your design and to have it fit in with the surroundings, and it looks very nice, and we wanted to thank you for that.
I thank you for the suggestions that you made.
You're
I
very
drove
welcome.
past it the other day.
It looks a
and
lot better than it would have.
Doesn't that look nice?
It does, it looks great.
And you also helped me get it done. Thank you.
And we wanted to let you know we appreciate it, because this is not the most fun thing to do, and having to come, to go and get a permit and then saying, oh, you're in the historic district, so now you have to go in front of the Historic Preservation Commission. We want people to know that we're agreeable and that we'll work with you, and you're just we're so easy to work with and a good example for other people to follow. You were willing to work with us.
I agree with that characterization.
We appreciate it.
I've been by there a few times too, and it does look
Looks
nice.
nice.
I definitely want to thank you, because Hightower and Bethel Street, through our master plan, that's our rail district that we're going to start really focusing on, enhancing the rail district over there. So your building and what you've done, it keeps in context with our historic nature of that area. A lot of our historic homes are in that Hightower Bethel Street corridor. So we really want to move towards enhancing and getting greater use out of that area in the community. So what you did, it falls in line with our focus moving forward. Thank you.
All right, other business, we're going to move on to other business, and this is like for Taylor and I have been working on the bylaws, which we don't have bylaws, so we're looking at bylaws. And what we have is a template from Dr. Crass at Community Affairs, because now HPD for the state is under Community Affairs. And the plan on that is we're going to brainstorm, put our ideas down, come up with a draft, present it to you all, to the commission, for your input, And if you, of course, think of anything off the top of your head that you want to be in those bylaws, by all means, just throw them our way. And then we'll work on that. And then, of course, Taylor will have to take that to the city council for approval. Because anything that we do, of course, has to be blessed by the city. But we have so many things going on, and I'm really excited about having Taylor spearhead this. And
Yeah.
a lot of work to do, but one little step at a time, and really looking forward to it.
So the only other thing I have, like I said, I have that call with Paige Jennings of DCA. She's with Georgia Historical Preservation Society on Monday. And then we got an announcement of a new listing in the National Register of Historic Places. The John and Effie McDaniel House has been listed on the National Register of Historic Places. So I did want to announce that.
Yep, that's
When did
fantastic.
they add that one?
So is that at June 24th?
June 24th. Nice.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
You
And
can
so,
add it?
with our changes to our agenda a little bit, so now I'm going to ask to have the agenda approved. I hear a motion to approve the agenda as we have kind of moved it around today. All right, second. All in favor? Aye. Any other business that anyone would like to bring to us?
I'd like to take one moment and reiterate what you just said about Taylor. He is the person for this organization and the DDA. We're excited to have him there as our person on the DDA to make things happen. The enthusiasm was so much better at our last DDA meeting. People were involved, and he brings enthusiasm where he goes. And I think he has done a great job, and I look forward to the future with him.
Excellent
Appreciate it, Mr.
comments.
Chair. Thank you so much.
Definitely concur.
Cool.
All right. Any other business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
All right, time is 2:34. Wait, I haven't got. Do I get to gavel this? Can I gavel? Gavel.
Yes, sir. Everybody's there. Thank you for all you do.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Yes, sir.
Thank you for what you did there.
Absolutely.
Good to see you.
If it all turned out like that one did, we'll be in good shape.
That's what I'm saying, right?
It looks so good.
It's been a while since I saw you in this town, right?
Right.
Thank you very much. I'll see you again.
Easy peasy. I'm gonna turn this camera off.
Oh, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let's
Let's turn off the camera. I'm ready for my close-up, Mr. DeMille. I hope they can cut that parts of it. All right, I think we did pretty good.
Yes, that went very well. You